It's been a long-running debate ever since the COVID pandemic. Does working from home make employees more productive by saving them from the daily commute, or does it hit the firm's bottom line by allowing them to slack off? Now we've got a proper study of this, of workers in China, and it's come to a conclusion. What is that conclusion? Here's one of those people who led the study, Nick Bloom from Stanford University in California.
First off, what didn't happen, there was no difference in performance. In fact, we have data for the next 2 years after that, and we see absolutely no difference in performance, promotion rates, reviews, leadership innovation scores, lines of code written for the computer engineers. But what did happen is the employees that were allowed to work from home were much happier. And you saw that in hard data in that their quit rates fell by a third. And for the company, that was a huge deal because every person that quits costs them about $20,000 to rehire them. And so they saw a massive increase in profitability.
Angel, let's whiz through these next couple of stories. Work from home, does that work for you?
Yes, sure.
It does. But that's interesting, isn't it, in terms of keeping workers happy. Not much difference in productivity, but they're happier so you don't have to replace them, which is, what companies want to do, keep staff.
And I mean, there are other studies that actually find that because, my research is about the stock market. So there are studies, with finding that the best firms with the best level of employee satisfaction actually outperform their peers by 2.3 to 3.8% at the stock market, because we're talking about ESG, governance, treatment of your employees. And these things are viewed very favorably by the stock market participants.
Yeah, it certainly is. Mike, for you, I presume in Silicon Valley, lots of people are working from home.
Oh, yeah, the freeway's emptied. They're filling up again a little bit, but I think the most important part of all this, the most interesting, because all my neighbors worked at home, was that you were able to do the same job in about half the time. And that just infuriates companies. They want you sitting at that desk for 8 or 10 hours. And people here are going out and getting coffee, doing Zoom calls, and they're just as productive and they're a whole lot happier. And we're starting to see some buildings, being shut down because people don't want to come to work anymore to an office.
Nope, they certainly don't. Let us move on to this story in Australia. The Chinese Premier